Today's report is the fruit of 12 months of very demanding work. I admire the courage and thoroughness of the Commission's report, and I hope the people of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia will join me in thanking everyone involved, because they've earned that gratitude. Second, the content of the report is very challenging, especially and in a very personal way for many of our families and students. The Commission spent a great deal of time working to ensure that Catholic school alternatives will exist for every student affected by this report. In reality, the report is challenging for all of us in the Church of Philadelphia and for the wider Philadelphia community. And frankly, we need the help of generous peoples from the general public, people who may not share our faith, but who understand the great contribution Catholic schools make to life in Philadelphia. We're all of us in this room committed to ennobling young minds, forming moral character, and providing an excellent education. That hasn't changed.
Lower birth rates, demographic shifts, and higher tuitions required to meet higher costs. As a result of these enrollment declines, a number of our schools are simply not financially viable. Understandably, much of the focus is on school closings, but closings are just one part of a forward-looking program designed specifically to strengthen the remaining schools. The Commission is confident that its recommendations in the report, if they are implemented, the future for Catholic schools in the Archdiocese will be immeasurably brighter, not for a year or two, but for many years.
The section of the report that I'm going to speak to quickly is school restructuring. It's clearly the most challenging and certainly the most controversial, but it is also the most necessary, and in fact, is long overdue. These recommendations are not about reshuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. Implemented well, these recommendations will fundamentally reposition our schools, making them academically stronger as well as financially more stable, better able to compete and grow, yes, grow, in the years ahead. I'll cover a couple of things very quickly, some brief background, and then a few of the specific recommendations. In terms of background, there's lots of statistics in the reports that you have. I would ask you to focus on three numbers: 68,000, 25%, and $1,500. The first number, 68,000. That's the number of combined high school and elementary school students in our system today. It's also the number that was in our system in 1911. That's when the cost of a first-class stamp was 2 cents. In 1961, that number was 250,000. So we are down 72% since 1961. There's lots of reasons for the decline. Jack mentioned several of them: smaller families. Our baptisms in the Archdiocese are down 46% in the last 20 years. More options. Parents today and families have more options. Certainly charter schools are an option that did not exist 15, 20 years ago. They do today. Also made recommendations encouraging a much proactive approach in the areas of development and marketing and enrollment management for all of our high schools. And finally, we also did suggest that as assets are disposed of that have supported educational purposes, particularly around the high schools, and consideration be given for some allocation of those funds to support ongoing educational needs. Now, these recommendations are not made lightly, but very importantly, they are made based on hard data, detailed analysis, and consideration of the most effective way to ensure that our schools are accessible, affordable, and sustainable.
We need a strategy to bring better governance for planning for our future over the next 3, 5, 10, and even 20 years. The Blue Ribbon Commission, as Jack has said, has spent now 13 months spending a lot of time and effort around the sustainability of our Catholic education programs, as well as analyzing what other dioceses' approaches have been to deal with these same issues. We feel one of the key benefits of this proposed new governance model is to pull all of the stakeholders together as it relates to educating our children. We feel this model will achieve better cooperation amongst our pastors, principals, and parents, as well as create a model that performs strategic planning at a
Catholic of a foundation to support Catholic education is not new by any means. Chicago has had one for 25 years, has a corpus of about $200 million, throws off 10 to 12 million a year to support inner city schools. It's been very successful in Chicago. The Catholic Foundation of Northern Colorado was established in 1998. Currently underwrites the Catholic school teacher salaries to the tune of about $1 million a year to make those salaries more attractive and competitive. In September, the mayor of Los Angeles announced a $100 million program to raise for a Catholic Education Foundation in Los Angeles. $100 million a year would throw off $5 or $6 million to support education there every year. We believe that a foundation here would have enormous benefits. Our local Catholics, for example, because of their heritage, many local Catholics, including those of relatively modest means, who otherwise might not be contributors, could find it very appealing to contribute to a foundation supporting our schools.